Welcome in, everybody. Welcome in.
Lived together. They went to his island many times. I never did. People are wise to your hoax, and ABC is your company, your crappy company, is one of the perpetrators. And I'll tell you something. I'll tell you something. I think the license should be taken away from ABC. It's not the question that I mind. It's you.
Welcome in, everybody. Welcome in. Yeah, Trump is I think he's done with mad, guys. I think he's a madman. This guy, I don't understand why, but well, I do understand why, but I never thought I'd see the day that this happened in America. You know, presidents hold meetings with a lot of foreign dignitaries, stuff like that. But the dignitaries he mostly hold court with, as you say, is mostly strong men and dictators. You see how he talked to Zelensky when he came. He talked to him like he was a piece of trash. But when Orban and Ben Salman comes to town, oh, you joking, you touching all on people and man, playing footsies under the table with Ben Salman, which is a known killer. What that man did to Khashoggi, and everybody, the whole world knows. Everybody knows what Mohammed bin Salman did to Jamal Khashoggi. If you don't know what the Crown Prince of Saudi Arabia had done to a journalist he didn't like, what Prince Salman did was this. You know, he's the Crown Prince of Saudi Arabia. He had his bodyguards, one of his bodyguards in like a team, like a security team, fly out to another country, right? They flew out to this other country because Jamal Khashoggi was going to receive an award for like his journalism. And when he got there, there was no award, guys. There was that team that Ben Salman sent. They, when I say they, those people dismembered this man. And you know, this is what the cold party is about it. He went there with his wife. His wife couldn't come into the compound. She stood outside the gate. Her husband went in. Everybody came out. She was still standing at the gate. Darkness fell. She was still standing at the gate. The next day came. She was still standing at the gate waiting on her husband. Now, these people then dismembered Jamal Khashoggi, left the country, and then had a body double go out the back with the same suit on, but the only thing that was different, Jamal Khashoggi went in wearing like dress shoes, but the body double had on tennis shoes. This man dismembers people, and you have him sitting at the White House. What kind of shit is that, man? Come on, man. You like people like Kim Jong Un, Vladimir Putin, Viktor Orban, this fool MBS, a known murderer. This is the people you have at the White House. But when Zelensky come, you threaten him, kick him out the White House because you don't like people who loves America. You like people who threatens America. Actually, the people who he likes are enemies of our nation. Russia's an enemy, China's an enemy, but he loves these people for a reason. Now, listen, this man, I want you to listen to how he talks to reporters just for asking about the Epstein vote. He's so nasty the way he talks, especially women. And then he's doing the Jimmy Kimmel thing again. I don't like the way you ask me a question, so I'm gonna have the FEC look into ABC. I think we're gonna revoke y'all license. We think we're gonna take y'all license away to be on the air because you fake news. That's the same thing they did to Jimmy Kimmel. Had somebody revoke, they threatened to revoke the license. You're doing it again. Listen to him. Listen to him.
Like vomiting vitriol out of
Yeah,
his mouth.
he was
for a
actually
reporter saying that
screaming.
ABC should have their license taken away for asking an Epstein question. Take a listen.
They're pretty good.
Mr.
I don't know.
President, Mr. President, why wait for Congress to release the Epstein files? Why not just do it now?
Well, it's not the question that I mind, it's your attitude. I think you are a terrible reporter.
Listen, it's not the question. It's your attitude. She didn't say anything. She just asked. You know, reporters, they all jump in to ask the question, and then he picks one. You picked her. She asked the question. You just didn't like it.
It's not the question that I mind, it's your attitude. I think you are a terrible reporter. It's the way you ask these questions. You start off with a man who's highly respected, asking him a horrible, insubordinate, and just a terrible question.
Listen, the terrible, insubordinate question is, why don't you just release the Epstein files? That's insubordinate and a terrible question. And you're
The question
yeah, this is crazy.
was about the political process.
Somebody psych you over at ABC, they're gonna psych.
Yeah, there you go. Here we go.
At number one. Number two, the way that he squirms and acts like a rat trapped in a corner whenever he's asked a simple question about Epstein is more indicative than anything else.
And you could even ask that same exact question nicely. You're all psyched up. Somebody psychs you over at ABC, they're gonna psych. You're a terrible person and a terrible reporter. As far as the
You're a terrible person and a terrible reporter for asking, why don't you just release the Epstein files? That makes you a terrible reporter. You can ask it a nicer way. Mr. President, I don't know how to ask that a nicer way, but why don't you release the Epstein files the way I asked you it? Or the way I asked you? People think this man is some kind of strong man. This man is the weakest, thin-skinned person I've ever seen. He can't take criticism. That's why everything he does is the best, or he's the number one president, because he's been told that all his life that he's the best. He don't know anything else. That's why my numbers are the greatest, or the job numbers are the greatest. And when you don't like the job numbers, you fire the person who gave you the job numbers. That's just fucking crazy. And we just let him get away with it. Listen, I ain't gonna sit up here and say Joe Biden was the best president. I understood something was going on there, that he wasn't the same Joe that entered the race when he started the race. When he wasn't the same Joe when he became president and he ended his presidency. It was something different there. It wasn't a weekend at Bernie's moment, but getting kind of close. That's why you gotta stop letting these 80-year-old politicians run the government. An 80-year-old politician is normally a person, or just think about your grandmother or your grandfather. They've lived their life and they're set in certain kind of ways and certain kind of aspects of their life, and they just don't want to give that up. They already became who they are. They're not going to change. Donald Trump is who he was, and he's not going to change for anybody. The man is 80 years old. He is set in his ways. He grew up in the 40s and 50s. The things that happened in the 40s and 50s, that's the things that he knows. That's the life that he knows. That was his what would you call formative years. What's going on? And so when you see him act out and lash like that, it's indicative of a person who was raised in the 40s, 50s, and 60s who had the upper hand far as money and power over everybody else. Trump is a sick man. And he's going to do whatever he can do to tear this place down. He's literally he destroyed half of the property on the White House grounds already with no permit or didn't even ask anybody. He feels like I'm the president. I can tear down what part of the White House I want to tear down. No, you can't. That's not your house. You're not. Oh, unless you're planning on living there forever. Is that another reason why you're building that ballroom? Because you and your family's planning on living there forever? When you go, then the next Trump be president? Or what's going on there? What are y'all doing? Sure seems like that way when you're tearing down history and putting up the other things that you want. Sure seems that way. You know who else? You know who else built the ballroom? I can't say it, but another person who built the ballroom. It was one of his grand projects. His name rhymes with Mittler. Yeah, he also built the grand ballroom. Because he needed somewhere for all the Yahtzees, like the game. He needed a place for all the Yahtzees to live lavishly and hold dinners. Yeah, Mittler, can't say the name, Mittler built the ballroom for his Yahtzee friends. He did that also. So why is Trump building a ballroom and Mittler built the ballroom? Yeah, it kind of sounds familiar. You got your jackbooted thugs running around here arresting American citizens. Everybody that's brown is suspect. Yeah, that's messed up. Everybody who's brown is a suspect. And then we call ourselves the land of the free. Free from what? Yeah, don't start, man. And then when they say, well, we don't see a lot of black people out there protesting. No, because we told you. This is not our fight. We told you not to vote for this man and you did it anyway. Now why you not in the streets? Hell, they ain't looking for me. Shit. Why would I go out in the streets and get my ass whooped for some shit that I ain't got nothing to do with? I told you not to do it. That's just being real. I'm not going to apologize for it or nothing. Just the way I feel about it. I love you, but this is your fight, brother. This is your fight. Nigga said, well, if you don't help us, y'all going to be next. We was first. How the hell we next? We always next. What you talking about? We always next. Got this crazy man sitting up there holding court at the White House with murderers. He's sitting. Come on, man! I can't even believe I seen that man sitting in the White House. I'm like, this gotta be AI. That ain't Prince Ben Salman sitting in the White House, is it? Yes, it was. I'm like, he didn't. I wonder how much it cost to buy a president. That's what I'm thinking. Well, Elon Musk did, so he got enough money. He did that. So I mean, the president can be bought. We just seen it happen this election. Ben Salman come to town. Next thing you know, Trump nipping to get ready to open up two 2 hotels, and a golf course in Saudi Arabia. Every time somebody show up from one of them foreign countries, it's deals being made. Yeah, he said he's the best deal maker, but it's deals for him and his family and him and his businesses. It's not deal for the American people. Let's see what Christmas gonna look like. Hell, shit. I guess it's gonna be food or toys this year. What? Can't eat the unless you buy some fruitcake, then you can eat the Christmas gift. That's the only way you're gonna eat the Christmas gift because it's gonna be food or toys. So I guess everybody just get fruitcakes. That way you can eat and you can play with it like a toy. It's pretty hard, so I mean, yeah, might be a toy. But this guy, man, he's I don't, my thing is this. I think the play is already set for them. Like, this is just see, they voted to release the Epstein files today. And it passed overwhelmingly in the House. It's going to make the Senate, these people in the Senate, like the Republicans, they're going to have to figure out what side of the street they want to be on. But the thing is, you got to understand what the law is. Trump announced this maybe a couple of days ago, last week, that he was opening up investigations on Bill Clinton and a couple of more people who've been to Epstein's island and everything like that. So this is the thing. If you have an open investigation, right? Legally, you can't talk about it, and legally, you can't release any information on an ongoing investigation. Since Trump already told Pam Bondi to do that, and she said yes, sir. She did. She said in a text message. He said investigate them. She said yes, sir, on Truth Social. Like, God, I ain't never seen that. But that's crazy in itself. So they opened up an investigation, and I suspect they will use that as a reason why not to, or why they can't actually release the Epstein files, because of an ongoing investigation. You heard it here first, and you just wait a couple of days. Because I'm not even sure it's supposed to go to the House. I mean,
Republican who voted for it.
The vote is supposed to go to the Senate tonight, and Trump can even sign this bill tonight to release the files. But we'll see. We'll see. This is the Republican thing. We want to protect the victims' names. Well, if the victims are standing in front of the Capitol, and we know their names, why are you still trying to redact their names or saying you can't release the names when we can clearly see them with our own eyes? They're right there and they're telling you their names. So that's another reason that I think they're pulling strings. Yeah, the House passed it, but they're asking the Senate to make changes so for more redactions of people's names and stuff like that. So that's another. If they go back and forth with this, they'll never release it. Either you release it in its whole form or don't release it at all. No redactions, no anything. If you don't do it that way, people are going to come up with their own explanation about why you didn't do it. See, they're covering it up. They don't release. See, you keep causing your own problem. But you know what? Trump say he's a really smart person, but he continues to cause his own problem. He can't be that smart because he don't get it.
I threw him out of my club many years ago because you could even ask that same exact question nicely. You're all psyched up. Somebody psychs you over at ABC. They're going to psych it. You're a terrible person and a terrible reporter. As far as the Epstein files is, I have nothing to do with Jeffrey Epstein. I threw him out of my club many years ago because
He's like,
You know what? I'm gonna tell you something. You and Epstein got into it. You did get into it, but it wasn't about him being a pedophile. I mean, a pedo. Excuse my language. It wasn't about that. It was over a property. It was over Jeffrey Epstein was gonna buy this property, and he had his best friend at the time, Trump, come over there because he didn't like where the pool was. So Trump, being in real estate and building, he asked him, "Is there a way that I can move this pool and put it over here?" And Trump was asking him about the property. Come to find out, Trump went over Epstein's head and outbid him on the property because Trump ended up owning it. It's in the the title of the home. Trump was the owner of that home. Epstein said that's what they fell out about that home, that Trump went behind his back and over his head, and that's what they fell out about. You look at the records about that time, Trump ended up owning that home about that time too. And he sold it to a Russian oligarch for double the price. See, Trump and those Russians, that's the thing that get me. Him and those Russians, what do they have on him? I suspect I know what they have on him. I'm not going into details because a lot of people forgot about when he ran in 2016. It was something called the PP tapes. And he got on at a rally one time. He said, "Yeah, my wife didn't believe that was true because he's supposed to be like some kind of germaphobe." And she said, "No, I don't believe that." But in Russia, when Trump did a Miss USA pageant, because he was the owner back then, Trump used to own the Miss USA pageants. He had one in Moscow. He wanted to meet Putin then, but Putin didn't show up or whatever. He was very disappointed. But he had supposedly had some female of the what kind of type, and they was in this lavish hotel room, and they was jumping around in the bed, and supposedly he was in the bed with them, and they golden showered him. So that's what the PP tape was about, and supposedly that they have video cameras in that room. So that's another thing, and you can look up Trump PP tapes. That was a while back, and that's one of the things that Russia is supposed to have on him. Another thing why I don't think the Epstein files will come out is because of the First Lady. Now, Michael Wolff interviewed Epstein over 100 times. Michael Wolff is said in the interview, you can look up Michael Wolff and Epstein. You can Google it yourself and watch it on YouTube, his whole video, where he explains that Jeffrey Epstein told him that he was messing with Melania a year before Donald Trump started dating her. And I'm like, is that true? Well, how would that be true? And I said, oh, when Melania did come over here, she was like 19, and she was working as a model under a modeling agency. And that modeling agency, dun, 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 was Jeffrey Epstein's modeling agency. And him and Trump, that's what they did. They had a modeling agency. They'd sit behind a big, like a big grand table, have girls come in, and they'll just turn around. Which one do you like? Which one do you like? There's video of that. There's actually video of him at Epstein sitting back, and just him and Epstein would come in, and girls would walk in. I'm not going to say they were underage, but they looked it pretty close. You know what I'm saying? Like barely legal, or, hey, I don't know. But there's video of that. Trump did say he would date his own
He has a
daughter.
personal attack.
which is weird to say about your own daughter. That's the weirdest thing I can. I mean, and it's the thing about me. People know he's even said that about his own daughter and be like, so what? That's not. And one guy even said, what's wrong with a father thinking his daughter is beautiful? That's not what you say to your daughter. That's not what you say. I'm gonna show you what happened. Let you listen to some stuff. Gotta find it. I think I might have passed it. I'm pretty sure. Oh yeah, here we go. If you listen to this,
and it's about the pathetic life of Prince Andrew, but it is also
okay. Let me backstory this right here. When he says the pathetic life of Prince Andrew, do you remember that Virginia Giuffre, the one who committed suicide? Do you know? Hold on. Oh, somebody was looking in here. She is the first one who started the ball rolling about being this whole ring and stuff like that. She accused Prince Andrew of doing stuff to her. Okay. Do you remember in Trump's first term that Prince Andrew was kicked out of the United States, and the British monarchy was kind of like begging the Trump administration not to charge him with sex crimes, and they just let him go back to England. And recently, all of this stuff has come back up, and Prince Andrew had to relinquish all his titles. He's no longer the prince anymore. So now it all makes sense. You, Donald Trump, and Jeffrey Epstein, y'all all were like wingmen. Y'all were boys. When Trump recently went to England a couple of months ago, Prince Andrew was there. He immediately walked up to him, shook his hand, and gave him a pat on the back. Is that what you do to people that supposed to be allegedly messing with minors? You handshake them, give them a pat on the back. Well, that's what you did to that one, because that's your homeboy. All of y'all is the same. Now, listen, Trump is the most selfish person I've ever seen in my life. I didn't think people could ever be more selfish than Trump. Everything he do for him, for his own agenda and his own liking. Now check this out. Why would he be holding up the Epstein files for his rich friends? I don't think so. Trump will he'll let heaven burn down. It's gotta be something in there about him. It's got to be. There's no other reason that Trump would hide the Epstein files if something wasn't in there that incriminates him for doing something. I'm not saying with Epstein, but he was doing something. And the part that he might have not even did nothing but this. He might have just knew about it and didn't do anything about it. That could be a point too. It could come out that Trump been knowing that Epstein was doing it and was there a lot of times when it was happening and just didn't do anything about it. That's one thing it could be too. Hello guys, but I was just giving everybody my 2 cents on. But listen what he said about like Epstein was messing with the first lady first. This is crazy.
About his connection to Donald Trump, Jeffrey Epstein, and Melania Trump. In fact, it contains a passage in which Epstein is quoted. This is from an interview, apparently in 2007, where he says that he had sex with Melania a full year before Donald Trump commenced his relationship. with Melania. The hardcover copy of the book was widely.
Yeah. That's the point. The interview is from the guy who's talking. He just had to put out a book about all the things that Epstein said about Melania Trump, and like basically, and you might not want to hear this because you don't. This is like you don't hear this about a first lady. Basically, they was passing her around. That's what basically Epstein told Michael Wolff, that they were passing the first lady around. That's how Trump ended up with her. Yeah, that's they were, they were older gentlemen running around thinking they were frat boys. That's what their problem was. They had money, and even a lot of them people, like for instance, in the new revelation that's come out about some of these people, like higher ups, they was even asking Jeffrey Epstein, like, they had a problem with, like, even not like young girls, but just women in general. And they would ask Jeffrey Epstein, like, how do you get girls and stuff like that? So they thought something about Jeffrey Epstein, about how he do what he do. They was asking him questions like that. And another reason, this is one of the big reasons. It's gonna be, if they do release it, it's gonna be heavily redacted. Not for the victims' names or anything like that. And because Jeffrey Epstein was into some stuff that only probably the CIA and the FBI really knows about, and they don't really want to say. Because the people who Jeffrey Epstein hung around, man, it'll be hard pressed for even the president of the United States to have a friends list like that. And I ain't gonna say he meets with all the presidents, but he talked to all of them. But the party, well, CEOs of banks and princes and prime ministers of Israel, and yeah, you see, they would have told him a lot of things, or had him, especially those intelligence agencies that was he was friends with. He was friends with the Israeli intelligence agencies, especially like I told you, the prime minister, Mahmoud Barak, or whatever his name was. Barack was supposed to had assaulted one of those girls that's been standing up on the thing today. Like, beat her so bad, her face was bruised. She had a chipped tooth, and she said she was like 15. And the prime minister of Israel did her like that. The former, not the one now, not Netanyahu, but the one before him. And she said she went in there crying to Ghislaine Maxwell. And Ghislaine Maxwell told her, baby, that's what you get sometime. That's fucked up. These men are brutal. Donald Trump, he loves to see violence. He's been like that. Even his school friends would say he loved to see violence. He wouldn't fight anybody, but he would egg on fights for other people to fight. It's like he go to UFC fights, and he said he want to have a UFC fight on the White House lawn. He said that immigrants should have like a UFC fight for their citizenship. That is beyond crazy, man. That is violence. You just love violence. You blowing up boats off the coast of Venezuela, supposedly drug boats, but I ain't seen not a gram of cocaine come. I mean, you know what I'm saying? I ain't seen not one of those come off one of those boats. I ain't seen not a joint of Mary Jane. I ain't seen nothing. All I see was people, and when you zoom in, they have some gas on that boat, like gas canisters. I don't see nothing else but fishing lines. So, and then this is the thing how I know the president is openly murdering people on the open ocean. Those boats are 1,800 miles off the coast. I mean, 1,800 miles from the nearest coast of the United States. 1,800 miles at least. Small as those boats are, they would have to refuel 20 times. I know there's no gas stations on the open ocean, so they would never make it here. For one. Two, like I said, I've never seen anything on those boats when you show it. Three, 2 people have survived. The Navy picked them up out of the water, treated them, took them back to their home country with no charges. I just thought you said they was drug dealers. So if they're not drug dealers and you done did, that's what you're doing. You just deleting people. And the president said he's not going to stop doing it. He said he got the right to delete anybody he wants to. Check this out. Same scenario, right? Supposedly drug boat. I'm going to say even closer. 5 miles off the coast of Miami. 5 miles. Suspected drug boat. You know what will happen? Coast Guard to go out there. They would board that ship. They would take everybody into custody. They would get all the evidence off that ship. Bring everybody back to the United States and charge them. That's not what's happening. See, that's the right way to do it. Hellfire missiles off a Reaper drone is the wrong way to do it. Especially with no evidence. The same way, when you do get the migrants or immigrants, instead of shipping them back to their home country, some of them end up in the Congo and Africa. Some of them end up in Saudi Arabia and Egypt. They be like, do you know that's inhumane? You're going to ship them somewhere where they don't speak the language, period. And Lord knows what happened in the Saudi Arabian prison. And if you go there and you go to one of these countries, my best bet is this. You probably never get leaving that place ever in your life. If the government ships you an immigrant to another country that's not his country of origin, I guarantee you that immigrant will never see his family again. I guarantee you that. Because he'll never be let out. What you think they're going to do? Let him out they're going to let a Venezuelan immigrant that was deported to Saudi Arabia. How much time do we got? Nobody ever said that. So this say they release him. Release him where? In Saudi Arabian streets where he don't speak the language, or they're gonna give him a free plane ticket back home? What's happening? So my best bet is if you ship to a country that's not a country of origin for you, you're never leaving that place. And that's what our government, and our president is doing to human beings. Only crime is coming across the border illegally. It used to be a misdemeanor until Trump made it a felony. You see, I'll just change the law to get the results I want. Well, I put it like this: signing an executive order is not law, but a lot of people seem to take it that way. Definitely not law. Executive orders are even bound by law. Yeah, so when people tell me that this man is doing everything he can to help American citizens, it's a lie. J.D. Vance, which is, don't like him at all because I think he had it right the first time. Before Trump even said, look at JD over there, he's been kissing my ass. And that's what you do. So I don't like you just for that reason alone. Plus, I just think you're a dipshit. But I can't say that you're not a smart or educated man. The actions that you take is the reason why I call you a dipshit, because you are a smart and educated man. Like Trump says he likes his voters poorly uneducated. He likes the poorly uneducated voters. Which seems to be true right about now. That's a lot of his voters. But you have an articulate vice president that can come out to the cameras, use big words, and he says things like this. The vice president says things like this. Now, just listen to the word. Painless. Painless definition of the word painless means without pain. You have the vice president said, Trump is not doing everything he can to make it painless. He's doing everything he can to make it as unpainless as possible. So a person like me do have a business degree. I'm like, painless, unpainless. Painless without pain. So unpainless would mean he is trying to make it painful. And the president being articulate and as smart as he is, I'm like, that couldn't have been a slip. Maybe he thought his supporters would not know the meaning of those two words. Like I say, he said he liked the poorly uneducated. But the word unpainless means with pain. Painless means without pain. Vice President said Donald Trump is doing everything to ruin your life and is making it painful as possible. That's the words he used. But in a bigger context of using bigger words. These people, they're good. They're real good. Trump is probably the best con man in history. If you don't remember, anybody remember Trump vodka? Anybody remember Trump steak? Anybody remember Trump University? Remember what happened to anybody remember Trump casinos? See? What happened to all those things? Fraud. Swindling. How do you have 3 casinos and you lose them all to bankruptcy and fraud? I've never seen that. Still to this day, I've never seen a casino. Man, come on, man. Trump was on The Apprentice. Trump was, listen, when your daddy leaves you $400 million, right? And in 10 years, you're worth $415 million. You didn't do a very good job. In that decade or so, you only made 15 million out of 400 million. That's how much your net worth went up, 15 million over a decade. But when the TV show The Apprentice comes out, you know, they wanna sit back and find this person, and they find Donald Trump. Hey, let's turn this guy into a real estate mogul, which he wasn't. You own property, but there's a lot of people in New York have more money and own better things than you. But they tried. It became a hit. And every time since then, do you see that every time that Donald Trump goes out, it's almost like it's a movie or a skit or a play. It's like it's all made for TV. That's what it is. Everything he still has that apprentice brain. You didn't make The Apprentice made you. I'm old enough to remember because I used to watch it. I'm old enough to remember you in the 80s too, and you really not that smart of a person, bro. Vocabulary is like sixth, seventh grade. Big leap. That's another thing. This is how I know he went crazy today. Well, yesterday, it was a reporter again asked him about the Epstein files. This man pointed his finger in her face and say, "You shut up, you little." No, he said, "Quiet, little piggy." I'm like, little piggy? Did you just call a grown woman little piggy? Like you read a fairy tale book? Quiet, little piggy. I'm like, man, this man is crazy.
Trump. Have you socialized with him? Yes, sir.
Okay.
Yes. Yes, sir.
Okay, here we go. This is Jeffrey Epstein recording when they asked him, do he know Donald Trump and do he socialize with him? It's kind of old tape. It's from like the late 90s, so just bear with me.
Trump. Have you socialized with him? Yes, sir. Yes. Yes, sir. Have you ever socialized with Donald Trump in the presence of females under the age of 18? No, I'd like to answer that question, at least today.
I'm going to have to insert my Fifth Amendment. They asked Jeffrey Epstein, which this is a tape, like videotape. The prosecutors, this is now, it was a, deposition. At a deposition, they asked Jeffrey Epstein, has he ever been in the presence of a minor, women the age under 18 with Donald Trump? He said, as much as I'd like to answer that question, I'm going to have to assert my Fifth Amendment. What'd that tell you? And that's from the horse's mouth. The late horse's mouth. And then you got, man, let me ask you a question. Do you know, I don't know, especially like for a female, how do you, hold on, I'm trying to find it.
Welcome to the Megyn Kelly Show. A nationwide uproar is erupting over Megyn.
Oh yeah, this is what a woman said. Somebody told her, everybody know who Megyn Kelly is. Somebody told Megyn Kelly that Epstein was messing with young girls, but they wasn't young like that. Like they wasn't 8 or 9 or something like that. They was like women that could pass for older. And she say, but I thought he was like one of those kitty things. And I'm sitting up here like, do it fucking matter? Underage is underage, no matter how you look at it. So basically, you're protecting him and saying, "Oh, I thought it was that bad, and it really ain't that bad." Because basically, it was young female, lady of the nights, as we say. They wanted to do it because they were lady of the night. How can you fix your mouth to say that when you got women just sitting up here in front of the Capitol 2-3 hours ago and said this man was horrible?
Whether you're a professional technician
And then another thing, let me
take
get this.
pride in
And,
Welcome to the Megyn Kelly Show.
and Republicans did this today. We're going to vote to release the Epstein files, but we know why the Democrats are doing this. It's a political stunt and a hoax. So why are you voting to release a hoax? They don't make very much sense.
A nationwide uproar is erupting over Megyn Kelly's controversial remarks suggesting that Jeffrey Epstein wasn't really a pedophile.
He was into the barely legal type. Like he liked 15-year-old girls. And I realize this is disgusting. I'm definitely not trying to make an excuse for this. I'm just giving you facts. That he wasn't into like 8-year-olds.
The backlash.
See, that's what I'm saying. She. Oh man, come on, man. Come on, we got to do better. We got to do better. Is that what you think, Megyn? So I guess she would let her 15-year-old date like a 30-year-old man then. This is crazy. That's all I got to say. This is it's frustrating because I got kids, man, and I don't see how they see that point of view like that. It's a sad point of view to have. And then when you got people like that, they just really not that bad. It's not that bad of a thing to them. A 1,000 young women, and to her it could have been worse. They could have been younger. Oh, come on. All right, that's all I got to say, guys.